The traffic is back to track. We have reopened the operation of the highways. People could go out of their houses for shopping and also for sightseeing. Now I have come to this traffic area around the bell tower over the past month. Here we can see few vehicles. To the contrast of that, today the traffic is back to track and we can see the hustle and bustle around this area. It's still very early in the morning, but we can start to witness the mounting numbers of the vehicles, the private ones and also the buses. So the whole traffic situation is back to normal. And I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Li, the officer of traffic management on duty this morning, and today he is invited to talk about his work and also the difference of his duty today and in the past days. From our camera, you could see that our city is back on track, and we have embraced the normal days. The total number of the traffic is back to the normal level. I've been on duty in the neighboring area, and I can say that we have the traffic back. The citizens, they have also resumed their work and production activities. After the lockdown of the city, finally we can embrace this day of the resumption of all the activities inside the city. Compared to the normal days, we can say that today the traffic is back to the normal level. And the traffic jam ratio, according to the statistics we have collected, we have resumed 90% of the traffic jam ratio. So it means that today the traffic is totally back to normal level. So I also would like to share a detail with you. I can see clearly the tears in the eyes of Mr. Li. And today for our crew member, everyone's on duty on the street for the management and redirection of the traffic. I have the same question as our audience over the past 1 month of lockdown. What's your major duty? Or that for your whole team? I believe that in the past 1 month and since today on, there must be some differences in your duty. Yes, of course. I used to work at another duty position to persuade the vehicles to avoid those forbidden areas during the lockdown days. I have to check people's pass for transportation and also their certificate. We highly recommend everyone to stay at home during the lockdown days. And we also have a duty calendar for 24 hours a day. Everyone's out, even during the night. Yes, exactly. Even very early in the morning, everyone's still on duty to have some basic inspection on the coming and going vehicles. We have also collaborated with the community level workers so that we can keep an eye on the daily life of people's life within their residences. And since today we have downgraded the risk level of the whole city, finally we can join our original position of duties. Take today as an example. For our team of transportation management, we have mobilized more than 70 people to work at different important junctures of the road, for example, the crossroads and some major avenues. For example, towards that road to the southern gate, we have a major force of teams. And over there, towards the western entry, we also have the patrolling group. As you know that here we have a square-shaped road system in the city of Xi'an. So at major junctures of the road and also by the entry and the exit points of the major avenues, we have to mobilize a basic number of the staff so that we can make sure in total that the traffic is in good operation. And do you have some special arrangement for today? Today, we have already made sure that the staff is on position so that we can meet the demand of the resumption of the traffic. We have also predicted this high level of traffic jam in the rush hours. In the past days, during the lockdown period, you can see few vehicles running on the street. And today I'm so happy to see many more vehicles are running on the roads during the rush hours. We have mobilized 70 staff members. In normal days, only 40 staff members would be sufficient, but today we would like to mobilize the maximum number of the staff to manage the road condition and also the traffic situation so that we can be fully prepared to meet the requirements and also the demand of the need of the city and the people. Since our city is back to normal, since today, people are allowed to come out and to circulate on the road. Apart from the private cars, we can also witness the resumption of the work of the buses and also of the public transportation. So yesterday, you can see that only half of the circulation of the bus is back to operation. But since today, we have resumed 100% of the trajectories of those buses and also the city traffic for public transportation. Today is January the 25th. And the Lunar New Year is just around the corner. It's in 6 days. What's your expectation for the traffic condition in the next 6 days? For the last week before the Lunar New Year, I think people would be coming out on the street a lot for some shopping to prepare for the New Year festival. For example, this morning I've noticed a lot of posts of photos and comments on the social media. People are celebrating the reopening of the activities and also the resumption of the city-related activities. For example, the shopping mall is open once again, and people can have wonderful shopping venues and also opportunities to get everything ready for the festival. We have also redesigned the trajectories for people to move around because we have to consider the needs of people for going out, for shopping, and for other meetings. In areas around the shopping centers and commercial complexes, we have mobilized and arranged more staff to better manage the transportation. Since yesterday, I've also noticed a lot of posts on the social media describing the traffic jam. So the traffic has already been back since yesterday. Yesterday, a lot of people have once again stepped out of their houses after the closure of the lockdown period. One interesting thing, yesterday during our duty hours, I've noticed one vehicle in red color pulling off by the side of the road. So I came up to have some chat with the driver. What's wrong with your vehicle or what's happening? So the driver responded that, no worries, sir. Please just give me a few seconds. I'd like to take some photos to memorize this wonderful moment because finally we can have a chance to go out of our houses and the city is back to normal. And I have a question for you, sir. More people are rushing into the shopping centers for the preparations for the new year, and that would bring to us a new problem, that is the parking problem. How can we ensure that we have sufficient parking lots for the people? So maybe you can consider to take the subway, usually near the shopping centers or the commercial complexes. Surely you can find a nearby subway station. If you do want to take your vehicle, you can also have some pre-designed trajectory, or you can have some researches before coming out of your home. You can try to park your vehicle by the nearby parking lots. You don't have to insist the parking downstairs, the shopping centers. In that case, it would be much more convenient for yourselves and also for the other residents. And do you have some tips to share with the drivers? Since tonight, we're about to embrace another round of heavy snow and raining. So the first tip for all the drivers, before moving to the road, please first of all check your vehicles. And when you are once on the road, please respect all the regulations. And I know that a lot of people would seize this opportunity to get together with their families, family members, the relatives, and also the friends. So if you had alcohol, if you drink even a little bit, you don't drive afterwards. And for the administration of the management of traffic, there is no control of the traffic before the festival of the Lunar New Year. And for more up-and-coming regulations and notices, please get yourself registered on our online platform so you can get the latest updates. Thank you very much, Mr. Li, for sharing with us so many useful tips. It's also a very exciting moment for me to be here to share with you the golden days back to the city, for the city of Xi'an. When we talk about this ancient capital city of the country, we will think about the beautiful ancient city area of the Tang Dynasty, and I'd like to give the floor now to my colleague. Thank you, Xi'an. I'm now at the subway station called Xiaozhai. After about 1 month of emergency response measures in the city of Xi'an, once again the city has been downgraded to a low-risk area throughout the whole city area. We have all noticed that the rush hours are back. There are more private vehicles running on the road, and also we can see more buses and more services from the public transportation. Many people would prefer to take the public transportation in order to avoid the traffic jams. So I'm now at one of the major corresponding transit subway stations called Xiaozhai. I'd like to check out what measures are in place to make sure that people can move around in the city in a very efficient but also very safe way. In order to go inside the subway station, first of all, you have to scan the QR code. Once you have the green color signifying that you are in very good health condition, you are allowed to go inside. Is it your first day to take the subway after the lockdown period? Actually, I would come to this place every day because I'm also a backstage personnel. I make sure the supply is in good operation. And you can see the lines signifying the social distancing regulations. Let's go inside. You can see the personnel in the protective costumes. They are here to help people, to help redirect the flow of the passengers. Once you're ready, once you have scanned your QR code to signify your health status, you can go inside. Now it's very early in the morning. It's just 8:15, so we don't have a lot of passengers until now. In about half an hour, you can see many more passengers traveling around this area. You have to check out your baggages and your bags. After the security check, I'm now inside the station. Until now, we don't have a lot of passengers because the rush hours for the subway are not yet beginning. I have invited Mr. Liu, the person in charge for this Xiaozhai station, to join us. Good morning, sir. I know that public transportation is an important means of traveling for the people inside the city. What kind of measures have you put in place to ensure the safe traveling of the people? We know that the Lunar New Year is just around the corner. We have taken a lot of measures and we have modified the ordinary arrangement of the work. For example, the timetable of the traffic. We have started the running of the subways since 6 a.m., so half an hour earlier than normal days. You can also follow our social media official accounts, for example, Weibo, and also the official account with WeChat to see the differences of the timetable. And also the waiting gap for one train from one train to another has also been narrowed down to 2 minutes and 28 seconds. We have observed for several days the traffic volume in our station. That's the reason behind the modification of the timetable and also the waiting gap. If you look toward that direction, you can see that we are embracing more and more passengers inside this station of subway. So the number is mounting. Even when you're inside the traffic station, after you have checked out your QR code, you still have to make sure that you put the mask on. As you have mentioned, today we have longer hours of operation throughout the day for the subway-based transportation, and the waiting gap from one train to another has also been narrowed down. This would bring a lot more conveniences to people's normal days. And once we have resumed the normal work and production activities in the city, more people would prefer to go back to the subway stations to enjoy the facilities and also the conveniences brought by the public transportation means. And before coming to your station, I've also read a lot of reports. I know that you have special care projects and measures in place to take care of some passengers in need. For example, passengers with disabilities and other passengers in need. You can call our hotline in order to reserve a convenience service in advance. For example, at the entry point or the exit point, if you have reserved a service of this kind, you would be accompanied by our personnel from the departure station to the destination departure, and there would also be a relay of services. That means for the departure station, there would be one personnel to accompany you aboard on the train of the subway, and then by your destination station, there would be another personnel taking over the task. For the elderly persons that are in need, or for other people in special needs, people with disabilities and others, you can try to call this hotline, join our personnel so that you can reserve this service of special care in advance. You have this point-to-point shuttling or the other kind of accompany services. By the entry of the departure station and by the exit point of the destination station, there would be personnel waiting for you by the two ends of the transportation routine. You also have an app, so you can reserve the service also online. You can download, first of all, the app for Xi'an Subway. You can reserve the service online, and apart from that, you can also have the latest updates about our running hours throughout the day and also all the procedures about your travels. So could you please give us a demonstration about how we can use this app? For example, how we can order the service of care. Of course, first of all, we can find this official account of Xi'an Subway with WeChat. And then you can click this button to enter into this interface. You can check the tariff of the ticket. You can also have access to other necessary information for you to travel around. And if you click this button, you can start to reserve this service of special care for the passengers in need. You can register your personal information inside, and you can send this application to our system. And finally, the departure station as well as the destination would receive the message. And now you can see that we are surrounded by the passengers in rush, and a lot of people are carrying large size of baggages. I guess that they are joining the trains or the airplanes so that they can go back to their hometown and celebrate the Lunar New Year with their family members. Also, a tip for our passengers traveling by the subway: please take care of your luggages. For example, when you are taking the elevator or you would like to go on board in the train, please don't rush. Take your time. If you cannot catch this train, please just have some patience and wait for the next one to come. You have also mentioned just now that you have actually increased the frequency of the trains. Yes, of course, we have narrowed down at the same time the waiting gap time between one train and another. So there's more train every 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes, you can expect the arrival of a new train. So you don't have to rush at all. If you miss this one, another would come. The transportation can connect people from this point to the airport and also to the railway stations. The subway is very important part of the civil transportation. If you would like to know how you can get the transition within the means of transportation, please don't hesitate to download the app, or you can also choose to use the official account with WeChat called the Xi'an app. If you are in need, you can also reserve online with your mobile phone this special care services. Then you would be surely accompanied by one personnel by the entry point of the departure station, and finally another personnel by the exit point of the destination station. If you are in need, please don't hesitate to call the hotline or join us by the online applications. We know that the subway has contributed a lot to the traffic of passengers, and at the same time, you're also a very important force to cooperate with the local government and contribute to the fight against COVID-19. What measures you have in place? As you have experienced just now, we have the QR code scanning procedure and also the security control. And we know that the Spring Festival is coming near. We also check all the luggages of the people on a daily basis. We have the disinfection measures in place, and also we make sure we have very good conditions of the ventilation in the public areas, including in the toilets. Every 6 hours, we would do one round of disinfection. And also for other places where we expect to have frequent contact of people, then every 4 hours, we would do one round of disinfection. For the ventilation system, we also have professional services of disinfection, so our citizens traveling around the city through this public transportation system, they can feel assured. We know that the Lunar New Year is around the corner, so do you have some new changes about your running or operation hours? Until now, it's still according to the schedule. If you would like to get latest updates about new arrangements after the first day of the Lunar New Year, please just download our app, or you can follow our official account of WeChat. As you can see, on the ground we have the rush hours, and here, underground, the transportation of the subway is also very crowded. Just now we have shared a lot of tips for you. They are very useful information, and we have also declared to everyone this very helpful service of special care. Everyone's respecting the social distancing, and there are also very clearly arranged waiting lines here on the ground. Good morning, sir. So today you're going out for what kind of purposes? I'm going out for some shopping. Is it the first day for you to take the subway after we have started the control measures on a regular basis? I took another train yesterday. I noticed that today we have significantly narrowed down the waiting gap between one train and another. Yesterday, if you missed the previous train, you have to wait for about 10 minutes until the arrival of the next train. But today, you only have to wait around 3 minutes and no more. And today, there are many more people taking the transportation and people with their luggages. We know that many people are traveling around, and some are even going out of the city to join their family members living elsewhere.
好的，那么今天刚刚我们也了解到了，今天也是带大家实地的来体验了一下我们的西安地铁。
The public transportation is really convenient. It can make our traveling on the road much more convenient, and it can help us to save a lot of time.
那么今天的新政策您都了解到了吗？刚刚也为大家打探到了我们的地铁的时刻的调整。那么也希望大家能够实时的关注我们西安地铁，在出行的时候一定要注意好。
So I wish you a wonderful day today with your shopping. Thank you.
戴好口罩，做好间距，那么进行扫码就可以进行安全乘车了。
Again, I'm now doing this live streaming report to you at the Xiaozhai subway station. And nearby, there's a very famous shopping center. A lot of people would come to this place to prepare some goods and also products for their celebration of the new year. Wherever you go in a city, you always have to remember that you have to put on your mask and also you have to respect the social distancing regulations. For my part, it's over, and now I would like to give the floor to my colleague.
别动，别动啊！准备，3、2、1，走。
好的，谢谢创姐。各位观众朋友们，大家好，我是中国铁路西安局集团有限公司融媒体中心记者郑雨欣。我们现在所在的位置呢是西安北站。今天呀是我们北方的，也是西安全面复产复工的第2天，同时呢也是我们春运的第9天。随着西安全面复产复工，今天呢西安北站将迎来春运节前的客流峰。我们现在可以看到
Thank you.
候车大厅有许多旅客已经在候车了。
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zheng Yuxin. I'm from the media center of the Xi'an Group of China Railway. Today is the second day that we have resumed the work and production activities in Xi'an City after 1 month of emergency response measures. As we can see that a lot of people, passengers, they are waiting in the hall. Now we have a set of new rules for the passengers coming to the station for the train taking. You have to show your certificate of a negative result of nucleic acid test. You also have to scan the QR code to show the green code. If you have the green code to testify your health status, you're allowed to go inside the station. I'm about to check out the situation now on the ground level. And our guest is waiting for us on the ground level. Good morning, sir. Could you please share with us the throughput of passengers here and also the structure of passengers? Sure.
现在在西安市未央北收费站，西安市恢复了正常通行，大家返乡过年也提上了日程。我们能够看到啊，在这里有很多车辆正在排队上下高速。那在这儿呢，也是一个比较特别的高速出入口，因为西安市未央北收费站，它不仅是前3大车流量入口，同时也是通往雨润新生活市场运送蔬菜水果的必经之路。复工复产、陕汽等重点企业保供车辆的必经之路，让我们跟随镜头。
Good morning, everyone.
刘警官，你好。
I'm now at one of the checkpoints of the highways. As we can see that a lot of passengers are hitting the road in order to go back to their hometown and join their family members and relatives for the celebration of the new year. At the same time, you can also find a lot of vehicles carrying the vegetables and fruit so that we can make sure the supply is in sufficient status to guarantee the daily lives of the people. Good morning, sir. Could you please talk about the traffic condition now? At this checkpoint, every day we can expect to see more than tens of thousands of vehicles. And every day there are also 700 and more vehicles guaranteeing the daily supply of the food and other products. There's an increasing number of the vehicles. What kind of measures have you applied to guarantee a good flow of the traffic? And also, what kind of measures have you taken to ensure people's security on the road since the new year is around the corner? In the recent 2 days, we have noticed a significant increase of traffic on the road. We have applied a lot of measures to make sure we have this protection Great Wall against the COVID-19. For the transportation of vegetables and fruit, all the vehicles have to travel by your checkpoint. Yes, exactly. And those drivers, they have done a good job to ensure the daily supply of the food, including the fresh vegetables and fruit. During the lockdown days, they have contributed a lot to the guarantee of the supply for citizens living inside the city. So I have also asked them to take a good rest before hitting the road. And some tips for our drivers of the private cars. I know that you have kept your vehicles in the garage for about 1 month. So today, once you drive out your vehicle again on the road, before hitting the road, please make sure that you have enough fuels with you, and you also have to check the conditions of the tires, etc., the whole condition of your vehicles. This is the exit point. I'm about to see another side of the road. For some inspections, in order to go inside the city, what kind of inspection activities have we applied in place? We have to check all the drivers, passengers, and also the vehicles. First of all, for the personnel on board, they have to show the green code after scanning the QR code, and also they have to show a negative certificate of the nucleic acid test realized within 48 hours. And since today, the whole area of the city of Xi'an has been downgraded to a low-risk area. So we can expect to see a growing number of people coming back to the city and they've been working outside, and now since the Lunar New Year is coming near, they are coming back to their hometown Xi'an to celebrate the New Year. You have to contact the community management committee in order to know that if you need to be put under quarantine measures, if everything is okay, you don't have to take extra measures than the green code and also the 48-hour negative certificate of nucleic acid test would be sufficient. And since the passengers traveling around are increasing in number, for the local vehicles, we have a very rapid procedure for the check and inspection. And for vehicles coming from the neighboring areas, we have longer areas. So, sir, could you please show us your QR code? Please wait a second. Thank you very much. I have this green code because I've never left the city. Where are you heading? I'm about to go back to my hometown, which is in Yulin. Today, according to the lunar calendar, it's another important event of celebration before the Lunar New Year. I've been following the official account of the Xi'an Health. It's a good news for everyone to see that finally we have downgraded the risk level of the whole city, and everyone's celebrating because finally we've got this access to our hometown and we can go back to our family members to celebrate with them the New Year. What is the wish for New Year? I wish everyone good health. And I also hope that I could have a girlfriend in New Year. Thank you very much for joining our live streaming program. Enjoy your trip and Happy New Year to you too. So from the smiley face of this driver, everyone could be touched and also feel how excited they are. And now there is a bigger size of vehicle coming to our side. So I'd like to know what kind of measures we have to take to check out. As we can see that for the bigger size of the vehicles, they also have to show the 48 hours of certificate of negative results of nucleic acid test. I can talk about with this passenger on board. What do you have on the truck? I have some fresh vegetables and fruit. During the COVID-19 period, I've started this job as the delivery person of the fresh vegetables and fruits. I delivered the food to the households. And today, we have resumed the work and productivity in the Xi'an City. What's your feeling? I'm so thankful. The government has taken lots of efficient measures. So today we are able to celebrate the New Year in this once again safe environment. I also wish you a Happy New Year. Thank you so much. I wish you a lot of health and all the best wishes to you and your family members. Hope you enjoy your trip. Just now, we have had some small talks with two drivers, one in the private vehicle and another in the delivery vehicle. And over there, you can see the entry point with the trucks carrying the goods and also the private vehicles. This is one of the busiest checkpoints for the highways, and standing here, I can totally feel the hustle and bustle and also the noises of the road. I can feel that the rush hours are back, and it's very pleasant to hear all those noises after 1 month of lockdown measures, because I know that everyone's able to hit the road again and they can join their family members in a short period of time. And apart from the officers working on the road, there are also a lot of medics working on the spot. Now I'd like to give the floor back to my colleague in the railway station. Dear viewers, good morning. Today, as you can see, we have a lot of passengers in the North Railway Station of Xi'an. And due to the hustle and bustle in this railway station, sometimes the signal would be not so satisfying. Please just excuse us. Again, my name is Zheng Yuxin. I'm from the media center of the Xi'an division of the China Railway Group. We're now in the northern railway station of the Xi'an City. As we can see in the waiting hall, a lot of people, they are getting prepared for the coming trip. We have a huge amount of people inside, but everything is moving on in a very orderly manner, including the entry into the waiting hall and also the security check, as well as the certificate check and code check. Sir, could you please say something about the general condition about your station? Yes, of course. Some days ago, the major passengers traveling around are students because they have finished one more semester of studies and they're able to go back to their hometown. And now we have more passengers from different circles of life. They have decided to go back to their family members. And today we're about to see a throughput of passengers of 120,000 to 130,000. And among the more than 100,000 people, 50% of them are students. So students are again a major population part of this passenger. For the major destinations of our passengers, major cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, and also towards the direction of Taiyuan, you can also find quite many passengers. We also have a saturated level of passengers traveling towards the Baoji direction. Today we have the countermeasures to COVID-19 on a regular basis. As we have mentioned before, the majority parts of the passengers, they are the students. So we have to do a preliminary analysis of their direction of traveling. That means where are they going? So we can have some measures in place. For example, towards the Taiyuan direction and other major cities, we know that they are the hot destinations for the students. We can also see the the booking and purchase system information about the tickets. And for the capacity guarantee, how many trains do you have every day? For example, today we have 180 trains traveling by our station. This can satisfy the demand of 150,000 passengers. And facing the increasing number of passengers, what kind of measures do you have in place to cope with that new situation? We have the special care programs too for the people in need and people with disabilities, people in old age, etc. They can talk to us in advance so that they can enjoy the service. Or on the spot, we can also do some observation to check out whether people are in such a need or not. And for the passengers traveling in group, they also have a special channel of service. Today we could already start the celebration of the Lunar New Year. Today is like the first day of the whole period of celebration. Yes, exactly. And today we have the highest throughput volume of the passengers. The peak day for the periods before the Lunar New Year. And gradually, we can expect to see that in the total structure or the mix of the passengers, the proportion of the students will start to go down, and at the same time, there would be a climbing proportion of the migrant workers and the other citizens. For the next few days to come, what are the measures in place to cope with the passengers traveling in group and also passengers traveling independently? We will try to analyze the need of different groups of people, and we can have more staff on position on duty so that we can better cope with their demands. For the migrant workers traveling around, we will do the analysis of the data for the areas and also the traveling directions with already a saturated level of passengers. We can talk with our colleagues in the same administration, so maybe we can consider to add up more trains. For the traffic capacity, do you have sufficient capacity to bring people back to their hometown? In general, we have sufficient capacity of transportation. We are confident that we can cover the needs of our passengers. We also have the big data analysis tool to assist our daily work. For some hotspot destinations, we can also consider to add up more trains, make sure that all the people who have a need can always have the access to the ticket. Also, I've received a question from the platform. During the trip on the train, do you have any tips for our passengers? For example, what are the objects forbidden on board? Yes, of course, dear passengers. During your trip, first of all, please pay attention to your self-protection because we are still living in this context of COVID-19. And we have the measures to disinfection in place on board, so you don't need to bring any disinfection products with you because those products are always based on alcohol and it's forbidden on board. If you do have a need for extra disinfection, you can bring some disinfection handkerchiefs with you or tissues with you. Against this background of regular measures against COVID-19, we also have some emergency response measures. We also hope that passengers would take care of their own luggages during the trip. Dear viewers, welcome to my part of live streaming program. I'm now in the Qujiang new area. I'm now at the Civil Service Center. Behind me, you can find this huge building separated into three parts to my left-hand side. This part is managed by the Industrial Administration, Industrial and Commercial Administration. And to my right-hand side, another part occupied by the Tax Administration, and in the middle is the Civil Service Center. So today I'm about to play the role of an ordinary citizen to know how people are working inside and what is the procedure of getting things down. First of all, in order to have the access into the building, we have to scan the QR code to show the green code. And then I would be traveling through this major gate. Thank you so much, sir. Now I'm inside. Please mind your steps. I'm about to go up to the first floor where we can see the Civil Service Center of the Qujiang New District. What kind of services can we expect to see? And today the city is back to normal status, and we have applied the regular measures against COVID-19. And what measures to safeguard the whole area we are about to check out together. Today we have already applied regular measures against COVID-19. So, sir, could you please give us more details about measures you have put in place? This is the waiting hall. And even during the lockdown days, we still have sustained our services, but it's online. Now we have this physical services in the waiting hall. Since last Friday, for all the street communities, we have already received applications for the resumption of work and production. Now, it's still very early in the morning, so we don't have a lot of people coming to the service center in the waiting hall. So that's also an important tip for our citizens here. If you have some urgent deeds to accomplish, you can consider to come to this service center at an earlier moment in the day. Here we can also witness an experience area with one-stop service. This is a new measure on site, and people don't have to repeat their visits to this service center. They only need to come to this place for once, and they can get everything down. We have this civil service website through which you can get everything down. You don't have to repeat your visit to this center. We also have the personnel on the site to give you some instructions. So you don't have to queue for a long period of time with the window services. You can have some self-help services. You also have the printing machine here, so if you have the need, you can also print out all your documents. You can also find a lot of documents and formulas here. We have pre-printed some formulas for the applications. If you forget to bring your version of the formula, you don't have to worry. You just come to the place and take another copy in place. This can help to save a lot of time for you. You don't even need to download the formula again with a computer and print it out again, because we have all the printed version. And another highlight of our spot here, with this experience area, Why we have to set up this independent area? For the approval procedures or for the photo taking of your personal certificate, you can do some management here, modifications of your photos or your document. And also in our waiting hall, there are different types of windows for services, some for general affairs and some other for the specific services, for example, the receipts, and also for the certification, registration. Apart from the staff here, we also have the hotline service. The services with the hotline are available 24 hours a day. You can also choose to follow our official account of Qujiang Civil Service Center with WeChat. You can try to proceed with some of your affairs online, and at the same time, if you have any complaints or you have recommendations to make to our side, you can also leave your message on the platform. For this area, what is the use of this area? Over there, we have set up this specific area in order to facilitate the intermediary services for our people. We have the joint services mechanism. Sometimes for a project, it will not only involve one single department, but several at the same time. So in order to save more time and energy for our visitors, we have this joint working mechanism, joint service mechanism. They report their information here, they register their documents here, and finally, all the departments would be consulted at the same time, and they don't have to visit several times in different places, different departments. It's just one-stop service. And over there, you can also see an area for the negotiation, and you have this one-stop service and also intermediary service area. Once we have embraced the normal life, we get everything back on track again. How can you cope with the most urgent need of the people? For example, the approval of their businesses. And what kind of innovative measures you have in place? So, very quickly, I'd like to brief you about this topic. During this area of lockdown, we have sustained our services online. We have closed down this physical hall, but we keep it open online. We have 9 WeChat groups covering all the major businesses and enterprises living and working in this Qujiang New district. We have shared the latest information and updates of announcements with them. For example, the documents published by the financial department and commercial department, etc. So we share with people in the shortest delay this information. Since last Friday, we have started the preliminary investigation of the conditions of the enterprises living in our area so that we can have some basic idea of their status quo. And behind us, there's a big LED screen. On that, interpretations of the major articles of policies, different types and topics of policies. For example, how you can pay your taxes, how you can report information to the authority. So, sir, could you please give us more explanations about this part? Yes, of course. We are using this LED screen to brief people the up-and-coming regulations from the tax department. In our daily work, this screen can also serve as a tool of big data. People are really interested in the tax rebate and also the tax cut and tariff exemptions. And another useful function of this LED screen is to share with people information during their waiting hours. After visiting this spot, I'd like to go back. In our footprints, I've noticed one interesting area, the intermediary service area. Just now we have already touched upon that issue, intermediary service. And you have a very interesting term, the supermarkets of the intermediaries. It's some place that we can communicate with the personnel to find new jobs. After 1 month of lockdown measures, emergency response measures, a lot of people have suffered from a reduction of income and revenue. So, sir, could you please give us more details about this supermarket of intermediary services? It's a way, actually, it's a measure to respond to the demands from the upper authorities. People could come to this waiting hall of services and use the system. They can have some self-help services. It's an automatic searching and negotiation system. It's just like you are doing the e-commerce online. You are doing the purchase independently online. Today, when you are searching for a job, you can also use this platform. So now I understand the so-called supermarket of intermediary service is actually more like a platform based on most advanced technologies. So you can try to have an access to the potential future employer by using this platform. I've also noticed the registration of the real estate and also some green corridors. So Mr. Xia, could you please give us more introduction to the functions of your service center? What are the major categories of functions you have? What kind of services you have here? As we can see, the total area is divided into several parts. First of all, for general business, and second, for the services to the specific projects. For example, for some bigger size of businesses, they have to complete their procedures of approval here. In the past, people may feel it's a big headache because there's a lot of bureaucratic barriers. You have to visit the place several times. But today, the good news for everyone, especially for the big businesses, you don't have to wait so much time anymore. We also have other services like the certification and the registration. It will significantly facilitate people's daily life and their work life. You have covered a diversified range of services here. As I can tell, for the arbitration of the labor and also the registration of the real estate, the registration of the public rental houses, etc. And you also have these brochures describing the one-stop service. There are also descriptions about the high-frequency activities. You can just scan the QR code and immediately you can know the documents to prepare and procedures to go through in order to get your business down, get your things down. For example, if I would like to mount up a photo booth, what kind of procedure I have to go through, what kind of documents do I have to offer, do I have to hand over to the authority? And for example, if I would like to start a restaurant, what kind of preparations I have to have in advance? And those are instructions for people running the small and micro businesses. We have to give them this kind of service. Yes, exactly. I know that recently it's a hot topic among people to start a beverage shop or a snack shop. We also have the separate instructions for different scale of businesses. For example, according to the surface of the area of your shop, the restaurant of 20 square meters and a restaurant of 50 square meters, they are different in the application procedure. After talking about this brochure, we can move to another topic. For the whole new area, the new district of Qujiang, we know that for the resumption of the work and production, we have already the business back to the track. Here in your civil service center, you also offer this information about policies concerning the work and production resumption. Imagine I am today someone coming to your service center for information consultation about this topic of work and production resumption. What kind of information could I expect to receive? First of all, in order to have your certificate of the work and production certificate, resumption certificate, you can come to this place. You can also call our hotline to receive the information online. You can also come to this place to register your information. If you have a plan and you also have a record of disinfection of the place, then immediately we can keep your information on the record. Several days ago, an industrial park has contacted our service center. Inside their park, there are more than 30 enterprises working inside. So immediately we have completed the whole procedure of application and approval for work and production resumption for all the 32 enterprises from that industrial park. There's also the QR code displayed on the LED screen. So for people waiting here, they can use their mobile phone to scan the QR code so they will not be bored by the waiting time. And at the same time, they can also receive the latest information about the policies and also the instructions. So this is a way to facilitate people's work here. Until this moment, we don't have a lot of people queuing. Yes, I think that is due to the coming Lunar New Year. The last question for you, sir. In this post-COVID-19 era, for your district, the Qujiang New District, what is your version or your perspective for the future services in the civil service center? We always put people's concerns on top of our agenda. We believe that people are the most important elements to consider during our daily services. Apart from the doorstep service, we also take a lot of measures to facilitate people's visits to our service center. For example, on the spot, we have all the above mentioned measures and also a green corridor to make the whole procedure shorter and faster for people. At the same time, we have also established an online platform to give people more facilities and also conveniences. Thank you very much, Mr. Li, for sharing us with this whole bunch of useful information. Back to you. Thank you very much, Yan Yuxiang. Now it's my part. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gao Ge from the Xi'an local television. I'm now at one of the construction field, and now we are carrying out one of the important key projects of the city. I'd like to bring you to this site because I would like to share with you how work has been resumed at the spot. This is a construction project for the road. This is a conjuncture point for 4 major pathways. In the future, once we have the completed project of the road construction, then it can significantly facilitate people's traveling and their daily life here. Because in the nearby, we have the residences and also campuses. Today, we have invited Yang Shaohua, person in charge for this project. Good morning, Mr. Yang. Just now, I have talked about the basic information about this project. So could you please give us more details about your project of construction? During the outbreak of the pandemic, you have suspended this construction project. Yes, because due to the lockdown measures, we cannot bring the raw materials into our construction spot, but still we have proceeded with some basic preparations so that once we have the materials inside, we can immediately start our job. Now in Xi'an area, the whole city has embraced the downgrading to a low-risk level, and we have implied the low-risk area-related measures more like on a regular basis. So today, it's like we have turned a new chapter in our construction. In this post-COVID area, we have supervision areas. We have also set up the inspection checkpoints to disinfect the vehicles and personnel. And also for the construction areas, on a regular basis, we have disinfection measures. We also distribute masks to our personnel. We have to make sure that everyone is wearing the mask when they are on duty. And secondly, the control of the COVID-19 spread. We would put on the posters about COVID-19 prevention and control related knowledge and instructions. We are doing this in order to raise people's awareness and at the same time for people coming back to the work position and for the vehicles coming back to the construction site, we would do another round of disinfection to cut off the transmission channel of the virus. Now I've noticed that a lot of workers, they are already on duty, and this time the last round of outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic has actually taken place in a critical moment because the Lunar New Year is just around the corner. How many people would choose to go back to their hometown and how many are those staying on the spot? During the Spring Festival, among 147 staff, about 100 people would continue to stay on the spot, and the rest of them, up to 70 people, they would go back to their hometown. For people staying on the spot, we have also planned some interesting events, for example, the sharing of the gifts and also the making of traditional food like the dumplings. We would like to use this kind of activities to make people feel at home so they will not be homesick and they can feel the warmth brought by their colleagues and also by our project. This is the major section of the construction. This is the horizontal direction of the road number 36. We have already extended the major part for operation and work, and we are doing the electricity and also the road surface preparation kind of work. We have suspended this work for about 1 month due to the lockdown measures, and now we have decided to pick up our work. And when could we expect to see the completion of the total project of construction? In about a month, we can see the completion of this section of the road. Over there, some workers, they are on duty. Is it possible for me to have a small talk with them? Yes, of course. It's also the first day for all those workers to come back to this construction site. Some of the workers, they have left this project, and we have also welcomed some newcomers to this construction spot. Later on, I'm about to take that road down to the construction field so I can have some small chat with our workers on the site. Good morning, sir. Good morning. I'm from Xi'an local television station. We are doing a live streaming program about work and production resumption for the city. Could you please just have a moment with us? Yes, of course. Where are you from? I'm from Xi'an City. What's your plan for the Lunar New Year festival? I'm about to stay on the spot for work. We have just embraced the normal days after the lockdown of a month. So I decided to stick to my work position, and I would like to join my family members later. Now in front of the camera, you can just share with us your best wishes for the new year, and you can also send your message to your family members. I hope that we can put an end to this pandemic as soon as possible, and I hope everything's fine with all the family members. Thank you so much. We know that for the major construction projects of the city of Xi'an is back on track. The workers, they are back on the working spot for the picking up of the activities. Enterprises, they have also contributed a lot to the resumption of the work. Local government, it's also working very hard to make sure that the projects can going on in a very smooth manner. For example, the local administration of Social Security and Human Resources, they are also issuing new policies to take care of the workers. For example, we can expect to see a week of job promotion, and after the Spring Festival, there would be many more activities to facilitate the job seeking. In the recent work conference of the Xi'an municipal government, it is said that against the background of regular countermeasures to COVID-19, we are about to take measures to facilitate the daily operation of the enterprises. We will make the financing activities much easier for the enterprises so that they can feel no burden during the work and production resumption. This time, as is mentioned before, the outbreak of COVID-19 has happened just before the Lunar New Year. And I know that for the workers working elsewhere, out of their hometown, their best wish for the new year is to be able to go back to their family members. But I know that sometimes it's not so easy and people are obliged to stay on the spot. And according to the latest instructions, people qualified to leave the city can feel free to leave the city of Xi'an. They don't have to apply for a certificate to leave the city anymore. Only by using their green code, they can leave the city and join their hometown. I believe that is one of the greatest news for people to hear before the Lunar New Year, because they could join their family members in an easier way. And we also know that due to some specific reasons, some other people are not able to go back to their hometown. Maybe it's because their hometown are still in a high or medium risk level area, and for some other people, they are working on some important positions, so they cannot leave their work currently. So for these kind of people, local government has also issued notices and announcements. We have supportive policies in place to make sure for people stay in for this holiday time can still enjoy the period of Lunar New Year. And Mr. Yang over there, we also have a construction site. The whole section has been connected with the major trunk by the 20th of December. And now we have picked up all the construction work after the closure of the lockdown measures. For example, the personnel for the preparation of the surface of the roads, they are back on the position, and also people managing the electricity, they're also back on track. As I can tell that they are laying out a nest or something. Yes, it's for the protection of the soil. During 1 month of emergency response measures, people are not able to join the working site, and a big part of this protection nest has been blown away by the heavy wind. This section has a total length of 3 kilometers. Over there is the dormitory of our workers. During the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, in order to lower the risks of people working and living here, we have decided to put them together in this dormitory, so they don't have to go outside of this construction site, and they don't have to do the shuttling every day. And during the lockdown area, we have also established a zone for the quarantine, temporary quarantine for people with a yellow code. We have set up this separate zone just for some caution. And sir, you have mentioned that quite a lot of people have decided to celebrate the New Year on the spot. They will not leave the city for their hometown. And what kind of measures will you apply to make sure that people can have a very pleasant lunar festival holiday? Yes, we will issue subsidies to the workers. I know that people are all willing to go back to their families, but they cannot. So we will organize a lot of interesting activities of celebrations. For what kind of reasons they cannot go back to the hometown? You know that in different localities there are different policies. For some workers, their hometown are still in a high risk or medium risk level. They cannot go back. If they go back, they cannot rejoin the work after the festival. And for some other places, if they go back to the hometown, they will have to go through a 14-day quarantine, and they think it's not worth it. And over there, people are doing some last stage of work. It's almost completed, this section of the road. Over there, we are doing the final finishing of the road surfaces. In about 5 days, we can complete this whole section of road. During the Spring Festival, I know that a lot of people would choose to stay on the spot. And just now, I've also talked with one of the workers here. He said he expects to go back to the hometown after the holiday season. Yes, we have this kind of policy. We have a rather flexible timetable for the workers. If they don't go home during the holiday season, they can also enjoy their holiday afterwards. And sir, I have one more question. You have mentioned that some of the people working here, they will not go back to their hometown because their hometown are now still in a high risk or medium risk area. So where are they from? They are from other cities from the Shaanxi province or the Gansu province. During the past month of emergency response measures, the lockdown period, all the workers, they are constrained within this working area, right? Yes, the majority of them have stayed inside because we have the restaurant inside, we have all the facilities within this range of the working spot. So even during the lockdown, there's no worry for the workers inside this zone because they have food and they have the dormitory, so no worry for all of them. We have also organized a lot of entertainment events for them. For example, we provide the chessboard and also the badminton rackets for them. They can also enjoy a lot of free time during the lockdown. So for all those workers, during the lockdown period, they are all put inside this area of the work. And since we have resumed the work immediately, they can join their work position. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Could you please answer a few questions, please? Where are you from? I'm from the Gansu province. What's your plan for the coming Lunar New Year? Will you go back to your home? No, I will stick to my work position. For what reason? I'm from the ethnic minority of Hui, so we don't celebrate the Lunar New Year. Good morning, sir. I'm from the local television station. Would you please join our interview today? I have a few questions for you. Where are you from? I'm from Shaanxi City. We know that the Lunar New Year is just around the corner. What's your plan for it? Will you stay here? Yes. And today is the first day of the work resumption. You have just picked up your work? I've been working here all the way through. Because I know that during the lockdown period, we have suspended the work. So you've been living here. And it's the first day for you to join the work position. Yes, exactly. In a few days, we're about to celebrate the Lunar New Year. For what reason you have decided to stay here instead of going home? Because it's quite complicated to go back to the hometown. We have to do the nucleic acid test. So do you have a plan for the visit afterwards? So I will see how the pandemic is controlled. So if you have any message for your family members or you would like to share with our site your best wishes for the new year, now you have the floor. I would like to wish a happy new year to everyone. Thank you so much. I also hope that you can have a wonderful celebration of the new year here. Now, on the spot of the construction project, a lot of workers have finally decided to stick to their work position and celebrate the new year here. For those migrant workers living and working in the Xi'an City, the municipal authority has taken a lot of measures to make sure that those people not going back to the hometown could still have the chance to enjoy a very agreeable festival of the Lunar New Year. For example, I know one of the districts, they have already elaborated a policy to facilitate people's daily life during this period of time. They have also investigated the general status of the people living during the period in the city. The community of the street of Fenghuang, they have also set up a service team. First of all, they will do an analysis to see how many migrant workers that stay in the city during the celebration, and they could prepare some services to those people. All in all those measures are to help us to guarantee a very pleasant celebration of the people, including the migrant workers. Now I'd like to give the floor back to my colleague. Hello everyone, welcome back to my side. After 1 month of lockdown measures, again this commercial street has embraced again the rush hours and also the hustle and bustle of the people. And this shopping center has been reopened. It's about 10 minutes away from the opening hours because the shopping center will be open by 10 a.m. and there are 4 personnel outside of the building to guarantee that people are queuing in an orderly manner. And in order to go inside the shopping center, you have to scan the QR code. Over there, there is a service personnel. Good morning, madam. What's your name, please? Just call me Wang. Okay, Madam Wang. You are doing the disinfection of the ground area, the surface area? Yes, exactly. So what is your working hour? From 7:30 to 4:30 p.m. What is the frequency of the disinfection? Every 1 hour. So you are the only one to do the disinfection, right? Yes. We have the solution for the disinfection, and you on yourself would cover the whole area. So immediately you can see there are more people queuing there. So I'm about to select one of them so we can have some small talk. Good morning. It's so cold today. Why are you so early? Because we have this new year around the corner, I have to buy more cosmetic products and I would like to give some more gifts to myself. I have to buy some new clothes. You have to put on heavy clothes. It's okay because we don't have to queue for a long period of time. I would like to be one of the first customers to join this shopping center because this early in the day, there are not so many people. I have scanned my QR code and I've decided to go in advance. Thank you. To check my body temperature and also the disinfectant for the hands. Good morning. You are working here, yes, for the management of the whole area and also for the control measures against COVID-19. Yes, absolutely. We have resumed the activity since yesterday. After so many days of lockdown measures, finally, you will be able to open the shopping center. Before resume the activities, we have disinfected the whole area for all the staff working inside the shopping hall, the shopping center. Everyone has to acquire a 48-hour negative result of nucleic acid test. And we have also offered different colors of masks and also disinfectant tissues and also some snacks. So in some special cases, when people coming to visit the shopping hall, they forget to wear their mask, they can pick up one free mask here. And now, as you can see, the shopping mall is officially open. We can gradually let our visitors, let our consumers inside. I've noticed that you have arranged the 4 personnel outside. I remember that in old days, you don't have so many people outside, just for the maintenance of the scene. All the counters, they are open to public now. Yes, 100% of them. Yesterday, I also came to the spot. I've noticed that some of the restaurants by noon yesterday, they were not providing on-site service, but they accept takeaway services. But since last evening, everything's back to the track. And since yesterday, we have already resumed 70% of the traffic. We're also disinfecting the handles of the elevators. For the buttons inside the elevators and also the handles of the elevators, for areas where people would have some direct contact and some frequent contact, we will also increase the frequency of disinfection of those areas. And now we can see that the customers, they are gradually pouring inside this shopping mall. Everyone's so excited because this shopping center is open again. We have lived through this 30-day measures of emergency response and lockdown. So finally, our customers, especially beautiful ladies, they've got the chance to go back to the shopping centers. They have so many things to buy, and our shopping mall is also ready to receive all the guests. Yesterday, we have started an urgent resupply of the goods inside the shopping center. As you can see that we have really clean and safe handles. Every 30 minutes, we have personnel to disinfect again the handles, so you can feel very safe and assured when you're doing the shopping inside. And also for the corridors, we will also do the disinfection every 2 hours. We also pay attention to the ventilation. We have different solutions for the disinfection for different surfaces, for the floor, for the handles, for the buttons of the elevator, and for the outside areas, we have different solutions for the disinfection. And we know that the Lunar New Year is just around the corner. It will take place in about 5 to 6 days. We can expect to see a rising number, a spike in the number of our guests here. What kind of measures do you have in place in order to cope with their rising demand? Yes, since yesterday, we've noticed that a lot of people are coming back to the commercial shopping center, and young parents, they are also bringing their child for the shopping of new clothes. We have arranged a lot of extra supplies of the commodities for our centers. Could you please share with us the most popular areas or the most popular commodities? I believe the children-related commodities and also cosmetic products, they are one of the most popular choices for our customers. Yes, exactly. I agree. Children and women, they are the major driving forces for shopping. And over there, we can see the personnel. They're also cleaning up the counters and also the shelves. Yesterday was the very first day of your reopening. Yesterday morning, we didn't have a lot of traffic inside. We didn't have a lot of passengers and visitors. But starting by yesterday afternoon, more customers are coming to visit your shopping center. When I was here yesterday, we already had a lot of children and parents in the children-related areas because we always would like to offer the best gifts to our children. And now we are moving up the ladder to the catering area. Yesterday, when I was here, I would like to have my lunch here in the shopping center. However, yesterday by noon, it was not allowed to have the on-the-spot service. We cannot have the lunch in the restaurant. But starting by last evening, all the services in the restaurants are back on track. We have also another guest of our live streaming program to talk about this whole area of the catering later on. We have disinfected all the tables. We are waiting for the coming and arrival of our customers. Usually the customers will only arrive after 11:30 a.m. or even at noon. Why all those members of staff, they are standing by the entrance of their restaurants already? Because it's the start of a new period of regular control of COVID-19. We have just closed up that lockdown period. We would like to have a refreshing image demonstrated to our customers. Well, we have joined this whole floor area of the restaurants. All the restaurants are ready. The staff members, they are waiting at the entrance spot. We have also invited the manager of the catering sector. And I have some questions for our manager here. Good morning, madam. Please say hi to everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm the manager of the catering section. My name is He. Okay, Madam He. Yesterday when I was here, I know that the restaurants, they are open to the public, but they only accept takeaway. But today, or more exactly since last evening, the on-spot services are already resumed. Yes. Before resuming our activities, for all the staff members of our commercial shopping center, we have taken the samples of all the staff to run a nucleic acid test. We have also abandoned all the remaining food and raw materials. So today, what you have on your plate, they are from the newly purchased materials and vegetables and fruits. For the whole environment, we have the non-stop disinfection measures. For example, we have 4 rounds of major complete disinfection. And before the resumption of the work and production, we have also cleaned all the tables and chairs. We have also removed some of the sets of tables and chairs so that we can have more sufficient spaces between tables. This is also a better measure to respect the social distancing. In the past, we just keep the empty chairs and tables on the spot, but today we just decided to move the unused tables and chairs so we can create a more cozy environment for our customers to enjoy their meals. For example, now you can see that we have more space from one table to another. Yesterday, first of all, we have resumed the takeaway and also the food delivery. For the takeaway and food delivery services, for the package, we will do one round of disinfection. And later on, there would be delivery men coming to our restaurant to order and take the food. Now it's just 10 a.m. in the morning, so we can see that already the orders are coming in. There are 2 bags of food waiting for the delivery. And for our restaurant, we have already moved away some unused tables and chairs. For the customers coming to our restaurant, we will ask them to scan the code once again so we can have their information registered. And we also suggest them to keep their masks on if they are not having their food. We know that sometimes it's so hard for people to keep the masks on for a long period of time when they are visiting inside the shopping mall. Sometimes they would like to take off their masks, but still we highly recommend to keep their masks on. And also for the handles, for the floor areas, and also for the outlets of the air conditioners, we will do one round of complete disinfection every 4 hours. Apart from that, for customers having their meals on the spot, every time when they finish the food and they leave their table, leave our restaurant, we will completely clean the table and also the chairs. Make sure that a new group of customers, when they come to the table, they can feel safe and assured. Thank you so much for this hard work. So, friends, I think that you have already had a basic idea about the restaurants and also the shops inside this shopping center. For all the citizens living in the city of Xi'an, it's a very good news for us to hear that we have downgraded since today the level of risk of the whole area of the city to low risk. It's a result of our synergy, and it's also a driving force for our future efforts, contributing to the development of our city. Everyone's part of this city, and low risk doesn't mean we have zero risk, because we have not yet put an end to this pandemic of COVID-19. So we have to stay alert, we have to put on our guards. In that way, we can have more and more good news. And finally, in the end, we believe surely we can chase away the pandemic completely. And that is all for our live streaming program today. Thank you for staying with us. See you next time.